So hello again, welcome to the video. Last time I started talking about the levels of consciousness, starting with the lower levels of force, getting to courage, that is the lower levels, as I said, shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, but also all other negative emotions like ambivalence, indifference. They're all in this part. It doesn't really matter which number. So this is just for you to have a picture. He, like Hawkins, who found this out, had a special kind of testing this and everything. It isn't so important, in my opinion. It's what my goal is, to help you understand yourself and other people, because I think if you are very honest to yourself and you can learn to be, you can always determine where are you at a time, and you can always decide to change. You can decide to change. So, doesn't matter. I was talking about below 200 energies are force. So you need to use force for everything. You have the feeling that you have, and your life is a struggle. Your life is a struggle. It's kind of, it costs you energy, and because of that it costs other people around you energy. And not only around you, other people in general. It's also, there is even if you don't believe in all this energy mumbo jumbo, you could there is research about if you surround yourself with happy people, how happiness spreads in different. So if you surround yourself with miserable people, how misery spreads. It's just, it's just common sense in a way. But it's all talking. It doesn't matter which words you use. I use the word energy or frequency you are at, the vibrations you are sending, all different pointers to what is happening. I will get to frequencies and energies in a different part when I talk a bit about physics, but this is not yet the case. Right now we're talking about the mind, and as I said, courage is the moment where, usually it's the turning point in your life. It's when you finally did whatever it is. You know what it is. When it happens, you know what it is, because you will say, oh my god, I finally did it. So that's that moment. After that, you will see things differently. You will start seeing things differently. You will start gaining more neutrality to things. There won't be so much polarity in good or bad, evil or good, friend or foe, or love and hate, and all those contrasts. It will be more nuanced. And yeah, on the level of willingness, it is a very good level, because actually it can serve as a catapult to get you above, to get you, you can start, level of willingness, you can start to forgive people, get more understanding for them, and go on and go on. And it goes on in reason, in the level of reason. There you get some understanding and are being able to abstract things that are beyond yourself. Like Einstein is a very good example if you know something about his work, because his work actually is beyond something that the rational mind is prone to do. His work, or his theories are actually very non-linear. That is actually especially his definitions of time and space are very non-linear. which is very interesting. But as I said, he was very high in the 400s. And he was very fortunate to do so. It wasn't really far. It wouldn't have been very far for him to get over 500, but it doesn't necessarily, like as I said, every level has its merits. In my eyes, the only important thing for a person would be to get to the level of courage, because then you are not perpetuating negative energy anymore. You are at least neutral. Like at the level of courage, you're neutral and like a bit of an energy giver. And it becomes much easier. Life becomes much easier for you and for people around you when you get to that level. You will also notice that, or may have noticed that, in other people that you knew, and people that were really heavy, and being with them would drain you. Horrible. But you can also notice then they can change, and some of them have changed and have changed their energy. Like for me, it was very interesting. I was looking at my Facebook posts, because I was deleting all my Facebook history, and I was looking at my Facebook posts from a year, I don't know, it doesn't matter, 2010 or something. And I was like, oh my god, like every post of mine was a complaint. There was a complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint. Like I was such a heavy energy then. Like I would have defriended myself immediately if if I were still using Facebook and that was someone in my timeline. Like I would have blocked to see what he's doing, because like this was very heavy. So I was at one point in my life a happy person. So, and that can change. I'm not that heavy anymore, I think. That is something that is good to know. And it is also good to know that you cannot change anyone that is in a lower level. This person has to decide to change by himself or herself. And so actually, the only good thing to do if you want to help other people is for you to get wide over to 100 energies, become very positive, very happy, and just by your example inspire others to do the same. That is the only thing you can do, and you can do. So we're going to come to the 500 energies, because that is the start of the nonlinear domain. That is the start of love. So, you might be asking yourself, love, it's such a strange thing. When you love somebody, you hate him a bit, and you're fighting, and you love him sometimes not. This is not the kind of love I'm talking about here, or Hawking was talking about. 500 love is love without opposite. When you love, when you get to this kind of love, of loving someone or something without opposite being possible there, just unconditional love. Sometimes motherly love, not necessarily, but sometimes it is. Or maybe you have felt this kind of love for a pet, or for, some loved one, or some plant, or, anyone or anything, doesn't matter. It is something that doesn't have an opposite. Although you could say hate is opposite to love, but that is not exactly true. It is just the point of view again, but hatred is something that is fueled with anger and everything, and it hopes sometimes to tarnish love, but love is a totally different thing. And speaking, like when you are here, especially even if you are very high in the reason, when you talk about love without really feeling, without really being, and you can actually only know what it is to feel this kind of love when you are it, when you are this level of consciousness, at least for some time. It is very hard to describe because it is a different kind of level. I will do a provide a metta meditation video that will help you to experience this kind of feeling if you want to experience it. So you know at least what I'm talking about. This is something you don't usually feel in your everyday life. I hope for you that you do. If you're lucky, you do. But most people don't. Or most people don't most of the time. Sometimes they do. There are always moments of serendipity. So, yeah. This is like the level when you become benign, in a way. You become reverent of nature, of life. You become to develop more and more, you come to develop more and more thankfulness for everything. It is, yeah, the description I often read is when you get above 500 energies, like before, like in ancient times, or older times, those would be the people we would see as saintly people that, you know, are really, from their inner love for people, are really doing great things. Which is a different kind of, there is like altruism that is more from here than from there, and there is true altruism that is there. It is there are different feelings. It's all behind, like, if you are altruism, like an altruist, if you're doing something good, but you're expecting something back, you're expecting thankfulness back, you're expecting some reward or something, then it isn't quite pure altruism. It's not from a place of love, of pure love, because when you're in a place of pure love, you might be an altruist, you don't have to be, but you might be doing good things without expecting anything in return. And I know that sometimes that sounds like science fiction, but one can get there. Yeah, so love is there. I'm thinking about, I'm looking at the table if there's something. No, there's not so much more that can be said here, but this is also like a part of your life when, I'm gonna use a strange word, magical, miraculous things start happening. Kind of, you know, you start feeling like synchronicity, like there is serendipity. There are things happening. You know, you think, oh my God, I would like this and that to happen. It would be so wonderful, and then it happens. And then you are totally in joy and happiness because it did. Like, that's called manifesting. And that's why manifesting is actually only possible, or mostly possible, only if you are in the level of consciousness of love when you are trying to manifest something. But actually, it's usually, for most people, it's not something that they intend. They don't intend to manifest something, but actually things just start happening, you know, happy occurrences that just miraculously seem to happen. You meet someone who helps you, although you thought no one could, and, you know, life just works for you. It just works. Everything that starts happening in a good way. So yeah, that is the level of love, and very near the level of love is the level of joy. And I'm gonna write everything down so I don't have to get up again. And then so now they're all there, because it is hard, like if you are above the level of love and near joy, you might be you might know what I'm talking about, but if you haven't still experienced it, it's very hard to really describe what this kind of joy feels like, because it is not the kind of happiness or joy people talk about when some of their desires come true. Because usually, even if you win in a lottery, you might be ecstatic for days or whatever, but it's gonna go away. This feeling is gonna go away. It's only temporary. But this kind of joy is just the joy of being. It's just the joy just for itself. You don't need a reason. You don't need to achieve anything to feel this kind of joyfulness and happiness. You are just thankful for being alive. You feel complete. You feel serene. You feel at peace more and more. And this is also like peace is very near 600. This is like more and more where you have the feeling you are perfect as you are. Not the feeling, you have the knowing you are perfect as you are. You know you need nothing else to complete you, because you are already complete. As I said, it all sounds like mushy science fiction. It doesn't matter. It's maybe good to hear it, but you don't have to believe it. Be it to believe it. That's the best thing to do, is just reach this level of consciousness, at least for a few moments, at least at some part of your life, and you will know what I am talking about. This is a totally different way of being that you are used to when you are in these negative feelings and energies. And yeah, after that, 700 to 1000 is the thing I am not going to talk about, because this is where enlightenment happens. I will talk about enlightenment. I will talk about what this means and what it is in other parts of the videos that I'm going to do, but not now. But let's say it is something that is beyond the mind that can be described at this moment. And an enlightened person, like especially enlightened person at 1000, were, for example, Jesus Christ or Buddha or Krishna, like those almost mythical, godlike, well, at least we people see them as like humanity has seen them as godlike people, but actually they were people who ascended the level of consciousness until the top level, which is 1000, or would be 1000. It doesn't really, as I said, the numbers are not important. What is important is just to see that there is like the difference is gigantic between even like 540 and 20. It's like, it's not 500, it's not like, it doesn't really say in a scale. It is more a linear, like the more above 200, it really just, skyrockets the difference in energy and in happiness and in fullness of life that comes with that. And yeah, I would, maybe it's important to say, like, this is force above and below, I mean, and above, this is power. This is the area of true power, because you actually do not need to spend any more energy fighting yourself and others, everything becomes more natural and easy, and life works for you, and you don't need the use of force anymore. So yeah, a person at the level of 1000 would be, or even at the level of 700, or maybe even below, a bit below, would be someone who is fully aware. Someone who cannot be deceived by anything unconscious, and especially above 700, someone who doesn't even have an unconscious mind anymore. It is just pure awareness, knowing everything there is to know at this moment that is important to know. No hidden agendas, no cross purposes, nothing of the sorts. So yeah, I noticed there is a very important topic I would still like to talk about in the area of mind, and that's something I'm gonna talk about cross purposes. It is very important to learn about yourself and about others, because very often, just to tease it, very often we say we want one thing, but at the same time one part of it, or more parts of us, depending, like more layers of us, want a totally different thing. And this is the main reason why we don't achieve some things in life, because there are different parts pulling in different directions, and what happens is that you actually stay still because you don't know where to go. So I'm gonna explain that in the next video, and I'm gonna thank you for watching now, and see you then. Bye bye.